Hey everybody, Pete Werner here with DCLFan.com, your source for Disney Cruise news and reviews. Joining you today on board the Disney Fantasy inside Royal Palace. We're going to see how this meal is. It's our first night of our 7-night cruise. I'm so excited to be back on the Fantasy. It's been a while. My previous cruises in the last few months have all been on the Dream. So I'm interested to see how the restaurants in particular on board the Fantasy stack up when compared to the Dream. We'll see if it's as good, better, or worse. Let's find out. Okay, so for my first course, I had the fried Brie, which if you remember from my... I tried to order the same things here that I ordered when I was on the Dream doing the review. Fried Brie is very, very good. But as Panda pointed out, it wasn't hot coming out of the kitchen. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was like better than room temperature. But after he pointed that out, I didn't notice it at first. But after he pointed it out, I'm like, yeah, you know what? This isn't hot. It was still good. Didn't stop me from having two helpings of it. The fried Brie is something, when you order it, just go ahead and order 2. You're going to want them. Because they give you 2 pieces of fried Brie on the plate, and it really isn't enough because it's so good. I remember it being better on the Dream, so this wasn't bad, but not as good as it was when I had it on the Dream.
Hey guys, I'm Federico from Sea Disney. I had cold lobster and shrimp for my appetizer. The lobster was really good. You can tell it was fresh because it had like a very strong sea lobster flavor. But the shrimp, not so much. They were kind of bland. I actually have to put some of the, I think it's dressing or olive oil from the bread to put some more flavor to it. And I also got the escargot, which is like a classic on any Disney cruise. They're amazing. They're really, really good. Garlic. You can taste the flavor of the escargot. I really, really like it and enjoy this dish. And I usually have it every time I come to the Disney cruise. So the first one, not so much, but this one is really good.
Okay, so for my second course, I had the French onion soup, which normally is very good in this restaurant. I say normally. There's a clothing brand called English Laundry that I really like. This soup, charitably, could be called French dishwater. It had a beef stock, which is great. That's what you use. But an onion has never been near this dish. There was no onion in it. No flavor of onion, no actual onion, no onion. This was the worst French onion soup I have ever had. I'm so disappointed. So yeah, French dishwater. That's what you're getting here.
Okay, so I was looking forward to the French onion soup. I love French onion soup. And when I tasted it, I liked it. I did, because if I ordered beef soup, it's a delicious beef soup, but there really is no onion. Somehow, they missed the onion. There's no onion in it. There's no flavor of onion either. It tastes like if it was thick, you could pour it over mashed potatoes and have beef gravy. So as a beef soup, delicious. As a French onion, really disappointed me. I'm going to try it another night, I think.
Okay, so for my main course, I had the crispy duck breast that came with a stuffed cabbage and like a mashed parsnip. Now I had this also on the Dream. and I gave it a rave review. It was, I picked it because duck is not easy to cook. A lot can go wrong with duck, and the fact that they got it right on the Dream, and I've had it more than once, consistently, they perfectly cooked. Because if you even slightly overcook duck, it becomes very tough, and the flavor changes. Well, this was awful. This was bad catering food. This is what I have come to expect of Disney's main dining rooms over the years. Why I was so excited that the Dream seemed to buck the trend. Now we're talking about a similar, one of the things I had said was that the food had improved on the Dream because they weren't serving as many dishes. Well, we've got a similar limited capacity on this ship. The kitchens are the same. The dishes are the same. The only difference is the executive chef. So I think this has a lot more to do with the chef than it does the occupancy of the ship. Because between my French dishwater soup and this really overcooked, underwhelming duck breast, this has been really disappointing, and I can only hope it gets better the rest of the week. It's the first night of the cruise. I'm trying to hold out hope.
Painful honesty. Listen, I'm on my cruise. I'm excited. I love it. Oh, that was bad. First of all, let's talk about the mashed potatoes. I was given a choice of white rice, mashed potatoes, or a baked potato. Nobody mentions parsnips anywhere. I never saw parsnip in my life. But apparently these are potatoes that I say, nobody's proud of that mashed potatoes. Somebody took an ice cream scooper and a big thing and put a cold lump of, there was no cream, there was no butter. And I find out it's parsnips or something. I don't know. Not good. The chicken breast was dry and hard. I don't want to think they microwaved it, but it tastes like it was microwaved. It was like really bad wedding food. Like you went to like you would talk, you would gossip after that person's wedding. You'd be like, how did they do that? But I'm still having a good time, and maybe I'll get the BLT room service.
So I have Salmon Royale, which was a salmon, of course, and it was over a cauliflower puree. Now, the salmon was really good. It was well cooked. The thing is, I thought the puree was better than the salmon, and I usually love salmon. I think it's one of my favorite foods. But if the cauliflower puree was better, then maybe the salmon was not that good. And I mean, if the dish is called Salmon Royale, I would expect the salmon to be the main star of the dish, and it wasn't. So maybe the things separately were really good, but put it together, I don't know. They were just like, they didn't make any sense. So.
Okay, so if like the end of a movie makes you, forget about the bad parts of the movie, this would have been a good end to the movie. Unfortunately, the meal was bad, but the dessert was really good. I'm not a dessert person. You'd think. I really rather have food than a sweet dessert. But this Grand Marnier souffle, I don't think I've ever had a souffle before. It just wasn't in my repertoire. It was really good. They split it open, as you can see on the video, and they poured some Grand Marnier stuff. I didn't taste alcohol. It might have burned off. Not sure. It was really delicious, and it was hot, really hot and sweet and fluffy. It was nice. Nice end.
Okay, so I had the creme brulee, which thankfully was very good. Nice crust on the top, The custard underneath was delicious. Kind of hard to screw up a creme brulee, and they didn't. So my appetizer, good, not as good as on the Dream. My main course, nowhere near as good as on the Dream. The creme brulee, just as good as on the Dream. Overall, this was a disappointment. I hate to say it. But I really hope this was just a one-off and that I'm not in for a week of watching a chef reach for mediocrity. So we'll find out. But that is going to do it for this episode of our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next time with another edition of the DCL Show review, or whatever the hell we're calling this, because I don't know. But we'll see you again next time.